live and direct from anywhere in the world. It's The Kelley Show with Dr. Kelley Mondesiré.
Hello and welcome to The Kelley Show, real people with real stories in real time. And I am Kelley Mondesiré, your host. And today we're kicking off the month of September. It's back to business with thought leaders and impactful entrepreneurs. And today I have a very, very special guest coming to the table to discuss how he became a thought leader on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. So we're going to take a break for a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
This portion of The Kelley Show is being brought to you by White Wolf Advisory Services. We are the bridge between nations, creating growth, commerce, and collaboration between cultures. Contact us today for more information.
And welcome to The Kelley Show. And as I said before, we're kicking off the month of September. Back to business with thought leaders and impactful entrepreneurs. And today I'd like to welcome to the table my very special guest and friend, who is the principal of the Bolden Group, Mr. Christian Bolden. Christian, come on down. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, Kelley. I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm very excited, and I'm honored that you took the time out to have this conversation and share your story with the audience today. So thank you.
Anything for you, Kelley. Anything for you.
Thanks. I'll keep that in mind. So let's start from the beginning. Where are you from originally, and where in the world are you now?
Yeah, so from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm now in the National Capital Region, so I'm in Washington, D.C.
All right, the nation's capital of the United
That's
States.
right.
Good for you. Good for you. Wow, wild and wacky place these days.
That's right. That's right.
But you're navigating it, and that's what I'd like to ask you about a little bit later in our conversation. But let's start from the beginning. You are a Fulbright scholar, and you have a very interesting background. So because we have an international audience, and Gareth, we'll get to this photo a little bit into the conversation. Let's just take this down for now. Okay, so before we talk about that photo, we have an international audience who might not know what a Fulbright scholar is. So
Sure.
would you please share with our viewers, what is a Fulbright scholar, and do talk to us about a bit about your background, and then we'll
Sure.
put that photo back up when we get to it.
No, absolutely. So a Fulbright scholar is an individual, they're a recipient of it. So it's a prestigious academic award granted through the Fulbright program, which is managed by the Department of State. It's the flagship international exchange program sponsored by so it's owned by Congress, sponsored by the Department of State. It was established in 1946 by Senator William J. Fulbright. And the goal there is to promote mutual understanding between the United States and other countries through the exchange of knowledge and ideas.
Okay. And where did you go for your Fulbright scholarship?
Yeah, Ireland, in my case.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
we're going to put that photo up now, Gareth, please. All right. And well, we know who this is, but tell our viewers who's in this photo with you and what is this all about? Do tell.
Yeah, this is the ambassador to the United States on behalf of Ireland. This is Geraldine Byrne-Nason. She's a tremendous leader, and has been a tremendous statesman on behalf of the country, and continuing the legacy of forging a strong relationship between the United States and Ireland. The organization that I'm involved with, the African American Irish Diaspora Network, which connects African Americans to Ireland. The embassy has been a tremendous supporter, and so I can't thank the ambassador enough for her support, for their support. And she's a mother as well. So I've been around her son a little bit, and she's a tremendous individual. And so I'm really excited to know her personally, but also to work with her in the capacities that we do.
That's wonderful. And I've met her several times myself, and she is a warm, gracious, incredible woman and a powerhouse. When she walks into the room, she's there, which is really
exactly right.
Yep. So let's move forward. After you received your scholarship, what did you do? What sparked your interest and your desire to become an entrepreneur? What led you to opening up the Bolden Group? And while we're at it, do tell folks what the Bolden Group is.
Yeah, so the Bolden Group, we're a government affairs and strategic management consulting firm based in Washington, D.C. We help companies and government partners navigate the complex challenges and advancing equity and innovation and economic opportunity, right? And just representing their interests in Washington, D.C. Our work spans clean energy, disaster resilience, education, and housing, amongst other, as well as some of our conventional energy partners, right? So, I for us, projects include advising Finance New Orleans, for example, on their federal funding strategies. The American Association of Medical Colleges is another client that we boast. We're really thrilled to vie on their behalf. So we translate our clients' values and their goals into federal impact through strategies on council and coalition engagement and strategic communications. And that's a niche that we have, right? Being able to translate their goals into something that I think is can be utilized, right, and is an instrument of progress in their interests. So we've made quite a bit of progress, not just in the profile of our clients, but also in the work that we've done, right? And so we are absolutely thrilled to have the businesses reach out to us that do. The confidence that they have in us, right? But also just being in the policy space and understanding what that means for people, right? And the outcomes, the impact that it has. That's where we understand it from soup to nuts, right? And from its inception all the way until it gets across the finish line, and we're really proud about that.
Oh, well, you should be, sir. And I have a question to ask you because I've been to Washington, D.C. many, many times for both business and personal. And I
Sure.
have to say, I'm amazed at how you navigate Washington, Capitol Hill, because it is my God, it is huge. It's enormous. It's like Medusa's head. There are so many different branches and departments and regulatory departments that one needs to navigate for various different types of clients. How did you end up to be such an expert to form the Bolden Group and be so successful dealing with Capitol Hill? Do tell, because I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So I think my introduction to politics at all or policy was through my experience with Hurricane Katrina. So as I mentioned to you, I'm from New
Mhm,
Orleans. I was not necessarily politically inclined as a youth,
mhm.
but Hurricane Katrina, we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary, by the way. Actually,
Right.
yeah. So the storm hit, and I my community was being reshaped and reformed, and there were a variety of voices that were influencing some of these policy outcomes that would be significant in terms of the direction and trajectory of the city, right, and the region broadly. And so at that point, I became interested in understanding how my world was going to be shaped and the impact that policy was having, right. And
Mm,
so uh, that sparked an interest. And very significant with me, right? Once again, as I mentioned, I'm from New Orleans, so not just from a distance, but a lived experience that
mhm.
informed that my perspective. And so from there, I actually evacuated to Washington D.C. So
Oh,
ironically enough, that was the impetus for me coming to uh, the nation's capital, and I was really excited to be in the thick of everything. It was a lot of I had a lot of enthusiasm about being in an environment that was so so strong, and so, as you mentioned, it can be a lot of minutia, right, and a lot of mess, but it's a place that does have a direct impact on our lives, and I was inspired by that, right. So on the basis of these experiences, being on both sides of it, where maybe I was the victim of some poor policies, right, but also adjacent to the policymakers at this point. I think that kind of the combination of those two circumstances inform my ability, I think, to be successful in this arena. And I think at some point what we're talking about is empathy, right? Is understanding that these policies do impact people. People's lives are changed in one way or the other, and so that's the space that I typically operate from, and also having empathy for the experiences of the representatives themselves, right? Whether that's in the House or in the Senate, right? The experiences that they've had, their cultural connotations, where they come from, and what's important to them, what's also important to their constituents, and I think what's important for them in terms of their alignments to various caucuses, right? Their alignments to and some of those affinities that they may be having. Out of that, we form communications that I think really enabled us to be effective.
Well said, my friend. Thank you. Now, you are an effective, impactful leader yourself, but let's draw the curtain back. There are so many leaders that you work with and deal with and interact with every single day in
Sure.
Washington, D.C. With your bird's eye point of view, okay, looking from the clouds, because you've got a tremendous perspective. What is it that you believe constitutes a good leader?
Yeah, so I think I think one of the attributes that I think the best leaders possess is or they seek counsel, right? The understanding that I'm in a leadership role, there's no possible way I can know everything, right? And so they reach out to people who either have experiences or expertise or guidance, right? They go and they look for feedback. They want to understand, even if the interest is just to fortify their own point of view, they're looking for feedback from others. I think that's great, and I think it's the idea that a figurehead doesn't have all the questions, and that to find to look and on the basis of these diverse set of experiences, and openly communicate and identify. And I think that is where you get wisdom, right? Knowledge or wisdom is knowledge applied, right? And so when these people have these different experiences, they tap into that. And I also think I think they're good readers. I often find that the best leaders are readers. I tend to think that the best predictor of the future is the past, right? And so much of what we experience is not new in terms of power dynamics and human behavior. And so if we accept that is as different as we are, and as much as we evolve, that there are some commonalities amongst us, and there are some consistent threads, right, across history. I think that can offer a lens into perspective outcomes. So I think they're readers, and I think that they seek counsel, right? And they put people around them who they can trust, whose awareness and understanding of a particular subject or the world broadly, they can count
on. Thank you for that. Take that to heart. That's for sure. All right. So you're not only a successful entrepreneur, but you are a member of the board of directors for the African American Irish Diaspora Network.
That's exactly right.
That's a big title. Okay.
Sure.
Now that's where I met you at a meeting back at the Irish consulate back in a few years back.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
And there is a history between African Americans and Ireland that I had no awareness of until I met you and your cohort at that event. So can you tell us what this organization is all about, and a little bit of the history that links African Americans with the Emerald Isle?
Yeah, no, it's a tremendous organization, and a big shout out, right? Big shout out to Dennis Brownlee, who founded the organization, right? And so the African American Irish Diaspora Network, we'll call it AIDN for short. That makes it a little bit easier, right? So it's dedicated to strengthening the connections between African American and Irish communities through shared heritage, cultural exchange, and leadership development. So we build bridges on those lines, right? Through education, entrepreneur, arts, and civic engagement. So those are the pillars, our programmatic pillars. And we have a couple of initiatives that we're really proud of. Perhaps the crown jewel is our foreign exchange program between
Mm.
Howard University and college and University of College Dublin. And so we honor figures like O'Connell and Frederick Douglass, right? But for us, by facilitating internships and these global study opportunities, we foster mutual exchange and empower the next generation of transatlantic leaders, right? And so for us, kind of comparable to Senator Fulbright, his ideals, right, around what this program meant. Some 38% of African Americans actually have Irish DNA, Irish
Mm.
heritage.
That's
So the
right.
ground is fertile, right? And that's not an insignificant number, right? But for us, it offers an opportunity for the two communities to connect, to explore, and also to address and resolve curiosities around not just who we are from personal identity, but also what who we are as a people broadly, right? And it really speaks to in my mind what America actually is all about and has become, right? Which is it is a melting pot of individuals from all across the globe who came here in the interest of opportunity, right? And so for us, we really enjoy what we're doing. As I mentioned before, the ambassador Geraldine Byrne-Nason, we've seen tremendous support from Ireland itself, right? We've worked with, as I mentioned, university in Ireland. Their institutions have been really supportive of this, and so what it also speaks to is that there was a need there, right? There was a vacuum, and we're filling that vacuum in a way that we feel like is really I'm sorry, filling that vacuum in a way that we think is really significant and important, and we're proud of the work that we're doing.
I commend you, and I'd love to get Dennis on the show and some of your cohort for a special month to feature the history of the relationship between African Americans and the Irish, because there's so much there. Especially, there was one event where there was a female authoress who wrote a book about the 5 points of New
Sure.
York and the history.
Hmm.
And I said, geez, I grew up in New York. I never knew any of this. It was just
Hmm.
fascinating. I said, geez, I want to know more. So, I hope we can, with your help, maybe put that together in the future. But more importantly, you just don't stay in your office. Gareth, can you put up the next photo, please? Christian, you have to tell us, there's a nice big smile on your face. You have to tell us where this photo was taken, what's going on the Jumbotron, and why were you there?
Yeah, it's the Democratic National Convention, and that is Michelle Obama speaking. She's a great orator, as is her husband, obviously, former President Barack Obama. But
Mhm.
the opportunity to support the party, and more importantly, hearing from the leaders, understanding what their vision is, understanding what their goals are, and where their leadership might take us. I think it's important anytime you get an opportunity to hear directly from the mouth of the individual who's seeking
Mm.
your vote. I think it's important to go. So I was in Chicago for this. It was a tremendous evening. The political stars and otherwise were out, but there's also, the DNC also has a function, right? And it's capturing those votes, right? That certifies who the presidential nominee of each particular party is going to be. And so to also watch our democracy in motion is a lot of fun as well.
It's interesting. Once upon a time, a long time ago, I was working for NBC News while I was in college,
Hmm.
uh, as a,
You've done it all, Kelley. I don't know if your
Oh,
listeners
almost. I'm not quite there yet. Almost, but yeah, yeah. It was the DNC was being held in New York City that year, and this was maybe
hmm
1980, I think,
hmm
or 1979, 19 something. Like I
hmm
said, past history, but it was a lot of fun. But working for the pull and feed and videotape. We would get in all the videotapes, and this is when beta was first introduced. Okay, how about those
Yeah,
apples?
yeah.
And you had all these editing beds, these editing bays on the floor. It was
Hmm.
like the fourth floor, and one of my jobs was to view all of these incoming feeds and the
Hmm.
discussions and the speeches being made at the DNC. It was very, very interesting. It wasn't all party city that some people think it's about.
That's
There's a
right.
lot going on, and going out with the crews as well to the different locations to see what was going on, and the shaking of hands and the conversations and the discussions being had. It certainly was a valuable learning experience for me as a young person. Although I have to say, I knew the Democrats were doomed that year because on opening night, it's a funny tidbit. Willie Nelson was singing the national anthem.
Look
Okay, now
out.
I'm a big fan of Willie. Okay,
Sure,
and
sure.
he's up there in his nice little braids and his dirty red bandana and his black dirty T-shirt and his jeans, and his scruffy little face, and he earnestly is singing the national anthem a cappella. And when he sang, "Whose broad stars and bright stripes," I said, "Uh-oh, spaghetti."
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah,
And for those who don't know out there, it's supposed to be "Whose broad stripes and bright stars." So,
that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
but I'll never
Yeah.
forget, it was classic Willie. And I said, "Oh man, they just like, this is bad omen. This is bad karma." But I want to get to my next question. We have a lot of young people, and this is a global audience who watch this show.
Uh-huh.
And I have very top draw guests, such as yourself. And you are a Renaissance man, you're a thought leader, successful business person, a Fulbright scholar, you're a wonderful family man. I know you value family and fatherhood tremendously.
I do.
And
I do. Yeah.
yes, Ivy League graduate. Let me see, what else? You're involved with various cultural organizations. How I write this down because you do so much. I have a question for any young person out there who looks at Mr. Christian Bolden and says, "Holy smokes, he is a son of the South. He's done all of this. He's survived and navigated Katrina, and he's built a very successful business on Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C.
Sure.
Wow. Oh, if I had 5 minutes with Christian for advice, what advice would you give the young people today?"
Yeah, no, that's a big question, Kelly. So for me, I would say like don't seek to be, seek to become, and don't fixate on arriving at a particular status, but in like focus on the journey of becoming. So it's like the habits, right, and the discipline, which results in the character makeup, and that moves you in the direction that you want to go. So I think if not, you risk your accomplishments kind of feeling hollow and unfulfilling. And I think when you really embody these characteristics, these disciplines that you espouse, I think it becomes fulfilling. So, for example, you hear athletes at the top of their game, and they say things like, I haven't had alcohol in 10 years. In fact, I don't even drink Coca-Cola, right? I don't eat these things. There's certain behaviors and certain habits that I have, or certain things that I don't do. And that discipline, when they get to the very top, they talk about how their discipline got them there. Like it's
Mm.
the hours that they put into their craft, right? And that people don't see, right? You see the glory, and you see the fame that they attain, and the heights of their success. But people at the top, they always, if you get an opportunity to corner them and really ask them how they got there, they usually always talk about the sacrifice, right? Do you know what I had to give up? The nights that I didn't get to spend with my family, right? The things that I had to give up, the rigorous travel. But the fulfillment in that is that I think it reduces, in the backside, it's like you don't have any regrets. You know what I mean? if you when you've done these things or you've put in the work and you can look yourself in the mirror and be proud of what you're doing, and which is also to say when you cheat, you take shortcuts, you can get there, but it's you never really get the sustenance from it that you really want, right?
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's really profound what you're saying, because it takes me back to when I was training to fight. I'm retired Muay Thai champion, and
Mhm.
my trainer, Phil Nurse, who I fought for at the Watt in New York City, he trained Georges St-Pierre and some of the greats. Phil always used to say to us, if we didn't run our 5 miles in the morning and jump an hour of rope before we went and trained for 2 hours fight training, okay?
Right.
He used to say, when you cheat, you're only cheating yourself, because if you're not running the 5 miles, the guy or the girl you're going to see on the other side of that ring, they've done the
Yeah.
work.
Hmm.
So, we always used to say, I always used to say, particularly, there's dignity in getting into that ring, whether you win or you lose. If you step into the ring, you've done all the work, and you haven't had the drink for 9 months or more. You haven't had the parties. You haven't had the fun. And while everybody else is in bed, you're out there running in the rain. And everybody thinks, oh, here's all the glory, and aren't they lucky? And, oh, they're selling sneakers, or, they're doing
That's
this.
right. That's right. That's
I
right.
really, and something, no one really thinks about what it takes to get into the ring, or get into the court, or get into the field. They have no clue the pain, the injuries, the physical injuries, the mental fortitude it takes to achieve greatness. And then for many athletes, I find they are successful in business because they have that discipline, and because many of us, and yourself included, because you're a highly disciplined individual, we always say, well, what's next? What's next? Any great adventure, any great achievement, what's next? It's never the end. It's always the journey, as you
Yes.
say.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're hitting on something there, Kelly. And it's once again, the people, they see the glory, but they don't know the story, the things, the sacrifices, the things you had to give up, right? The once again, getting back to that athlete metaphor. It's like I don't eat fast food, I don't eat junk food, I haven't had potato chips, I don't drink. There's all these things I have to give up in
Right.
order to achieve my goal. And for me, that's been something that I've subscribed to. I was a college basketball player, college scholarship basketball player myself. So that's the school of thought that I've kind of come from, and it served me in so
Mm.
many other ways. And by the way, when you do come across people who haven't put in the work, there's an insecurity there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because they know that when you don't put in the work and you take these shortcuts, you end up being insecure in that spot. Somebody's out to get me. That your spot can be that you can be knocked off. Well, of course you can, right?
Mhm.
Because you know that you haven't done the things necessary to get to where you are. And look, Kelly, I could talk about this all day, but those are at some point what we're talking about is the character, right? The
Yes.
integrity of the work, which gets you to where you want to go. And that is what makes you the champion, right? That is what makes you the success, right? I think so often we subscribe success or only view success through dollars and cents, right? And
Mhm.
it's really that's an outcome, right? It's an oversimplification of all of these things, that the character makeup of what people, they make positive contributions to their society, they take care of their family, they're good friends, just solid good people, right? That you want to be around, that you wouldn't mind your husband, I mean your daughter or your son marrying, right? These are the type of people. That's what I think success is. At some point it's about what's in here, right? So
Wow,
yeah.
that's great. Well, we're going to take a break for a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back with Mr. Christian Bolden. Be right back.
This portion of the Kelley Show is being brought to you by White Wolf Advisory Services. We are the bridge between nations, creating growth, commerce and collaboration between cultures. Contact us today for more information.
And welcome back to the Kelley Show as I continue my conversation with Mr. Christian Bolden. So, Christian, I have a question for you. What's next for Christian? And there's a photo we want to put up. Okay, where are you? Those who don't know.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
And for anybody that doesn't know where that is, it's the White House, people. So, Christian, what's next for you? Do tell.
It's funny, Kelley. People often joke that I should be a United States senator or something, but I'm growing the firm, continuing to learn. I've exceeded my wildest dreams to this point. I've shaken hands with, kings and queens, princes and princesses, presidents, congressmen and women, ambassadors, and I've advised large organizations and governments. And so all I can say is stay tuned. My trajectory to this point is not something I foresaw for myself, and so I'm continuing to be exposed to new things, and I'm excited about the future.
Well, Christian, I have to say this to the audience because I did mention this before. You'll have to move to wherever state I'm in so I can vote for you. But I said this to Christian earlier. He is one of the most brilliant gentlemen I have run across in a very, very long time. But what I really love about you, Christian, is you have integrity and you walk the walk. You do what you believe in, and you're true to your word, and you never deviate, and you never promise anything you can't complete on that promise.
So, I appreciate that, Kelley. I appreciate it from your mouth.
You got my vote. You got
so
my vote.
I'll let you. You can be the campaign chair if I ever jump out there.
Well, my mouth never stops, and I'm getting my practice here on this show. So you ring me up, I'd be happy to do it. That's for sure.
Sure, absolutely.
And I always got a guy,
That's right.
I always got a guy.
You do.
We have a tradition on the Kelley Show. Christian, if you could name one person, place, thing, or experience that you would say you were thankful or grateful for, who or what would it be? Do tell us.
Yeah. So, wow. I have so many people who have influenced me and had an impact on my life. My parents, obviously, my wife, my teachers, sports coaches, church members. It takes a village, and I am a result of that. But I'll share one story with you that had a really profound impact on me as a child. Right. So, my grandmother was a jazz songstress. Right. Tammy Lynn. She had her own album. She had a platinum album in the UK. Her contemporaries include Dr. John, Alan Toussaint, the Neville Brothers, the Marcelluses, on and on. But I remember one day in particular, and if you could remember back to the 90s, Kelley, this is a point where we didn't have cell phones, and long distance phone calls were a thing, right? So my grandmother had a performance out of the country, and we ran to the phone. My mom would say, "Hey, your grandmother's on the phone. Come talk." And I remember her calling and saying, "Hey, I love you. I'm calling you from New Zealand, and I just wanted to say I love you. Bye." Click. Right. And so once again, the long distance calls at those points were the price for the calls were astronomical. But I remember she telling me that she explained it to me that she was in New Zealand. And I had a globe that I had in my bedroom as a kid. And I remember going into my bedroom after I got off the phone with her, and I was trying to find New Zealand, which is not, for the uninitiated as a young boy, it's not the easiest place to find on the map, right? And so I couldn't find it. I spin the globe. And finally I went into, I asked my mom where New Zealand was, and she pointed to it. Right. And I remember thinking in that moment, and I was about 11 years old, I remember thinking, wow, the world is a big place. And that was the beginning of my curiosity about the world, right? And wanting to see the world and travel and have experiences and understand cuisine and music and dialect. and dress. It's one of the things that's really important and is really had a profound impact on my life and really defines my outlook, which is that everybody's from somewhere and where they are from matters to them. And it's made me, my cultural experiences and my traveling experiences have made me, in my view, a more comprehensive version of myself. And so that was the very beginning, though, like in that moment, sparked my interest in seeing the world.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for that. Well, I have to say thank you very, very much for coming on the show today. I hope you'll come back, my friend. And I wish you
Anytime, Kelley.
All the best. Thank you. Thank you so much. And
my
folks,
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, God bless. God bless. And for anyone who would like to reach out to Mr. Christian Bolden, we have his contact information up here. It's the Balden Group. He is a wonderful individual who will get back to you. And I'm sure if you are a young person out there and want a little bit of advice on navigating career, Washington, D.C., or international student exchange, whatever, I'm sure he'll respond to you, give you his best, because that's what he does. So thank you once again, Christian. I'll see you soon. Okay.
Thank you, Kelley.
All right, toodaloo, and see you soon. And folks, if you would like to be on a future Kelley show, please do write into us today with your name, your contact information, a bit about your story, but more importantly, why you would like to be on the Kelley show. Looky, information's here. Okay, and don't forget to subscribe today to the Kelley Show. Tell a friend, and particularly today's interview with Mr. Christian Bolden, because what this gentleman has to say is important for many of us out there. And you keep a lookout for Christian, because you might be seeing him one day as someone very, very big in the United States government. So you stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be back next week with another incredible guest as we continue the month of September, back to business with thoughtful leaders and impactful entrepreneurs. So we'll see you then. Garrett, take it away.
If you would like to be a guest on The Kelley Show, send us an email with your contact information, where in the world you are, and a brief description of the story you'd like to share today.